It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Cop a chicken dog for the 18. Same number Peyton Manning from the Colts team. Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 18. Same number as Peyton Manning from the Colts team. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Saturday, February 4th, 2023. So welcome to the show out there, loyal listeners. I hope you're doing great out there. It's finally a sunny Saturday out here at the Dep Lewis Show studio. It's been raining like a mug around these parts. So we're finally seeing some sunshine today, but it's very frigid. It's cold. So it's a great day to play some video games and record a show, drink some coffee, chill out, do your thing, and play some video games. That's what we're here to talk about today, is the video games. So hopefully you've been playing a lot of great games this week. We have a great show for you today. This is the Dep Lewis Show. You can follow this show everywhere. You can like, you can subscribe, you need to rate, you need to comment, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Those are all the things you can do to help out this show that you love so much. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow at DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Email box is open 24/7, 365, ready for your emails at any time. So please send your emails in there if you have any feedback or questions. I could possibly talk about it on this world famous platform. So, send them, fire them on through. There's full episodes of the Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. And just thank you so much for following the show and listening. And thank you for being here today. This is episode 18. We're going to talk in the first section about what I've been playing this week. A couple games that I'm really loving, so that's been really, really great. The mid-section will be the beefiest portion, the meatiest portion of the show today. We have a lot of news in the mid-section to talk about, which is cool. Spanning across the whole video game industry. There's a lot of different things to talk about there, which is really fun. And then the miscellaneous talk section at the end, we're going to mainly get into some sports talk from the official sports teams of the Dep Lewis Show. We're going to get into those at the end of the show. So I hope you will enjoy every second of this today. All right, so at the beginning of the show today, we're just going to, we like to go over notes from the last show or talk about, recaps from last week's show or something like that. So the only note from this show, again, is just to improve as a podcaster. I'm trying to do that every week here with this show. So hopefully we will be seeing some sort of trend towards the positive after 18 episodes of the show. And just keeping the focus on this show. I'm going to bring you the best video game information weekly. So I'm going to give you news. I'm going to give you what I've been playing. I'm going to give you upcoming releases and just, all the big highlights and some lowlights of the video game industry. So I'm going to be doing that from week to week. And that is the Dep Lewis Show guarantee, to give you the most up-to-date video game information each week that is meaningful to me. And hopefully my taste to be something that you guys like out there too and want to listen to. So as you listen more and more, you'll get an understanding for what kind of stuff I like, and then you can kind of pick out what I'll be talking about on this show. So this is the best video game show in the world, the Dep Lewis Show. So thank you for being here for episode 18. We're going to get into what I've been playing this week. And the first game I've been playing this week is one of the most games I was excited for, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. It came out on the January 20th for Nintendo Switch, and I've been loving this game so much. The previous game was one of my favorite games of all time, and this game has been very fun. I think I'm around chapter 12 or 13 in this game, and so I actually looked up earlier how many chapters in this game, so it looks like I'm about halfway through. So I think I'm probably like 12 or 13 hours in, so maybe an hour each chapter is what it's seeming like. So this game should possibly be done for me around 26 to 30 hours is what I'm thinking. But I've been having so much fun with this game. I've been continuing to listen to podcasts or stuff with it sometimes. The story is a little bit forgetful in this game, but the characters are cool. And that's kind of what I like from the last Fire Emblem. I do a little bit miss some of the monastery aspects from the last game. There was more like character, more character interaction-y stuff, but the most meaningful part, my favorite part of these games is the actual battle. So this game has a very succinct flow, I guess I would say. It has the battle. It does a little bit of a recap of a cutscene, brings you to the after area, then you can go back to the Somniel, which is the base hub, and you can walk around there a little bit. It only takes you maybe 5 minutes or so to walk around the Somniel and pick up the things you need to do. and then you might want to hit up the shop or check for new clothes or something like that. So it's like the perfect after battle area. It's really cool, and it's more of just a hub than I would say the monastery from last game, where you actually, you were looking for people and wanting to talk to people and make sure you did that. And this one you don't really have to. You can already see the characters on the screen that have conversations available on the map. So most of the time in those after sections, I'm really just looking at the map and hardly even looking at the screen, and just going to the markers on the map that are things to pick up, which I've been picking up stuff after every battle, and I've been using 0 of it. So, I'm playing this game on, I guess it's easy mode. Well, I'm playing it on casual. I think there's only 2 modes in this game. But, I haven't had to use any of that other stuff yet, which is strange. So I don't know. This could be a game that I get back into. Maybe I do play the permadeath mode next time, but it's been really fun. I haven't been having too much trouble in the battles. I have been losing people here and there, a little bit farther as I go along, but it hasn't really been too demanding. I usually have, you go into battle with a huge group of people, so if you're losing 1 or 2, it's not really ending too bad for you. But, I guess continuously, if you're on permadeath, that would be dreadful. You might get to a point in the game where you couldn't actually proceed. Excuse me. I need to get like a cough button or something, but excuse me. But the characters in this game are the main thing that I'm really liking. The characters in the last game are the things I'm liking, and I noticed after doing some research that the characters, you're getting different characters for every region you go to. So you start off in Lithos, and that's where my character is from, the Divine Dragon. And one funny part I'd like to bring up about the Divine Dragon is she is in this slumber for thousands of years or whatever, hundreds of years, and she wakes up and doesn't remember anything. She gets told she's the Divine Dragon, and she's like, oh, wow, okay, that sounds like a lot of responsibility. And then every conversation this lady has, mine's a lady, and I named her Vin after the Mistborn series from Brandon Sanderson, so her name's Vin in my world. And Vin is always like, Vin is always saying her name all the time to everyone. Right when she meets someone, she goes, hi, I'm the Divine Dragon. And this is like something, it's like Jesus coming back, and everyone in this world knows who Jesus is and knows about him and stuff, and then she's just coming up to you and saying, hey, I'm Jesus, or I'm the Divine Dragon. You think she'd want to lay a little bit lower. She's fighting with warring states and stuff like that, and she's just telling every single person she meets on the street that she's the Divine Dragon. And you see in this game, people, you get duped, you get tricked. There's people trying to battle you and sneak up on you and wearing disguises and shit, so it's like, maybe chill out with telling everyone you're the Divine Dragon, man. Maybe that'd be a good bit of advice, but other than that, she's very confident, and she's very trusting, and I guess you could maybe say naive, but the world hasn't really come to bite her in the ass too bad, and she's actually my strongest character. So Vin is my strongest character, my main protagonist. And I've been putting some of I guess they're called like tomes or upgrades or something into her to make her stronger. So I've mainly been using her, but I've also been putting some of those into other characters as they see fit for like defensive or magic things. I'm basically using my main character with their sword. But I love my Lithos characters, so that's where the main character's from. Vander, the guy on horseback with his axe. I've still used him every battle because he's I love having the horse because it allows you to move further with that character. And it's nice to have a strong axeman on the team, so Vander's been very good. Clan and Fram, I'm liking both of those from Lithos too. Clan is the guy with the magic, and Fram does her healing. So I'm pretty much bringing those two to battle almost every time. I do have other healing options I do have another healing option, but I like using Fram the most. Clan, I do have other magic options that might actually start outweighing him a little bit in the future, but that's the cool part about this game. So each area you go to, you get, a new cast of characters that you can, add to your crew. And some of them have similar abilities, so you got to swap them out. If you can pick who you like, is all I'm trying to say. So, and then we go to Brodia, and I'm probably pronouncing a lot of these characters' names wrong, but I'm taking my best stab at it. Then we go to Brodia. That's where I got my guy Alchrist with his bow, and then we got Yunaka with her Haya Papaya as her standard greeting. So you want to tell someone Haya Papaya out there? If this episode had a name, I think it would be called the Haya Papaya episode. So Haya Papaya to you out there. Tell someone that today and see if they're a Fire Emblem fan. And they might look at you like you're crazy. Is what I would most likely guess. But she's a really cool character, but she's one also that might get booted from the group as I move forward. Then we go to Solm, Solm, and that's where the prince named Fogado, and I like that name. He sounds a little bit Italian, like Antonio Belpezzi, but his name is Fogado, and Fogado is on Fogado. He's on a bow and arrow. He's not on a bow and arrow. He has a bow and arrow, and he is on horseback. So that's a pretty cool element, because I love having the range stuff in this game. Having the mobility of the horseback or a flying steed or something is really cool. So he might get added to my crew, but he's seeming pretty cool. He definitely has a cool character design. He looks neat. And then Elusia is the last area that I've been to, and there's a badass lady named Ivy I got on there who's on a winged rider, and she got that magic, and she's dressed all kind of sexy. So do your thing, Ivy out there. And then we got Zelkov, who's a really cool thief, and so I've been using Zelkov some too. So I must be, I don't know. I was trying to guess what chapter I was at, but I really don't know exactly. I think it's 12 or 13 is what I'm guessing, or possibly 14. But because I've been using these people, but we will see. At the end of this game, I will tell you who my favorite characters are. Who's still standing in my party. Will Vander be there from the beginning? Will Clan and Fram still be there? Or will some of these new people really be taking over, like Ivy or Zelkov or the prince named Fogado? But I don't know. That's the really cool part about this game, and I'd like to keep you updated on who I'm using and who ends up being on the all-star team for the Dep Lewis Show and Fire Emblem Engage. So I'll definitely be playing some more of this game this week. So let's try to think. I've had this game for 2 weeks now. I'm about halfway through, so maybe in 2 more weeks, if I keep playing on this kind of a pace, which has been pretty just of a normal pace, I should be able to complete it. And I think that'll be great, and maybe I'll even fire it up again. I haven't really noticed if you can skip the cutscenes or not, but I bet you can, and it's not really too much of a hassle to get in and out of the battles again. So this game is really, really cool. It is living up to the hype. I said last episode I think it's going higher on heights for Three Houses than me, but I would say it's pretty similar, and I think that's a good thing. Three Houses is one of my favorite games of all time, and this game has been really, really good. I've had an excitement to play it. I've been pushing through it. It's been really fun. I enjoy my time with it. I like all the elements of it, and I don't know. I think it's just a really, really, really strong game. I don't think I would give it, an A+ on my ranking, but maybe it would be like an A-, or it's really, really strong. I don't know if it's like the best of all time kind of thing, but it's a really, really strong game, and it's fun. And I like this genre a lot. I don't play it very often. So I think there's just a lot of things coming together that's cool for this game. So I'm going to continue with the Fire Emblem Engage, and let's see if I have anything else to say about this game since I've last talked to you. There was a 2-part battle that was pretty insane. So it actually warns you before the battle. It says you won't have a chance to come back. Excuse me. Excuse me again. It says you won't have time to come back and regroup, so you need to prepare, which I should have put some more stuff in my convoy. I didn't really think about that, but I ended up being okay. But I did lose a lot of people in that first battle. In the second battle, I was, down a couple men to fight the whole thing. But I ended up winning. It just kind of came down to the very end. And thank God my lead character, Vin, is very strong, so she helps me out. But that 2-part battle was really cool. I kind of remember them doing something like that in Three Houses. So I wonder if they'll do that again in this game, because it was kind of a dramatic thing. It really did make the battle seem like it was like a huge deal. So pretty cool. Fire Emblem Engage. Go out there and play it if you got a Nintendo Switch. And if you got $59.99, you can play some Fire Emblem Engage. So that's been a great game, and it's definitely on the Dep Lewis Show 2023 Game of the Year list. It's already on there. That's going to be a moving, fluid list, but I've only played one game, and that game could have been lukewarm. It could have been not so great. It could have not lived up to hype, but it definitely is. So I think it's going to take one of those 10 slots on my list, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up there. So Fire Emblem Engage. Well, with an asterisk. You never know. This year could have an insane amount of games, but it's on the list for now, and we need some more proof to move it down. So until we get some more proof, Fire Emblem Engage, you are Game of the Year. So it's been fun as hell. All right, the next game, which is the second new game that I played this year, which is actually a remake of an old game, is Dead Space Remake. I've been having more fun with this game than I expected. I think I'm 2 or 3 hours into this game. I'm playing a little bit slowly because it's kind of scary, but it's not too overwhelmingly scary, but it's just set up nicely to go through some horror and hit a save point and dip out of there. And then I work on my bravery in the real world, and then I go back into the game and make sure it's not too dark out or spooky in the real world, and then I go back into this game and play it. But it's been really fun. I really enjoy Isaac as a character. It's nice hearing him talk, so I wonder how much that is adding and changing to the experience from the first game, where you actually get to hear him talk, and he takes his helmet off and stuff like that. So he's really, really cool. The controls in this game are good. The combat in this game is good. The graphics in this game are good. The enemies are fun to shoot and fight, and I don't know, the tension in this game is good, and it's not too much, and I love the spaceship element, and the zero gravity sections are so cool. I'll be showing you some zero G sections, some clips this week that I took, because it's like one of the cooler looking things in this game, one of the cooler things in games. You can thrust around, you can pick stuff up in the world, you can still use your kinesis, and then it's just flying. You're awesome. It's like you're a superhero, but you're in this crazy spaceship that's basically crashing down to a planet, and you're going with it, and you don't have any means to escape. So this game is really awesome. Everything is going poorly. Isaac's talking to his homies through the comms a little bit. He has, just his couple homies left, and they're really just trying to do all these things. And Isaac's a pretty cool customer. He's like, yeah, I can do this. I'm gonna just keep moving on and keep working on this stuff, and that's what he's doing. So this game has been really neat. I like the line you can follow. You can click on the right stick, and it tells you where to go for your objective. And I've learned through listening to podcasts this week that it is like the main storyline that it's always showing you. So if you want to explore and pick up some stuff in the world, you need to veer off that path a little bit. So I do that from time to time when I notice there's 2 doors to go through. One's the primary door. I'll usually go through the other door now and see what's in there. Sometimes it's a bathroom, or sometimes just another like ancillary room that has stuff in it, and enemies usually. So usually there's like a cost whatever, a benefit analysis kind of thing, where you're like, do I want to get this stuff in here? Do I want to explore? Do I feel like getting attacked right now? So it's really fun, but I really appreciate the line that shows you where to go, because this game is scary to me, and it just helps it out. It lets me explore on my own. When I'm feeling brave, I can go explore those other rooms. But I also heard, you have multiple weapons in this game, which is cool. I really like the original plasma cutter, and I heard an argument online for only putting your nodes into the plasma cutter, and I think that's maybe the route I want to go. I've already put, I think, one node into the pulse rifle thing, which has a ton of ammo, which is helpful. But the nodes will help you upgrade your weapon. They'll give you more damage or range or capacity. And I actually upgraded Isaac's armor since I've last talked to you. I paid 10,000 credits or whatever, and it's just so cool. He's in this crazy suit, and then you go up to the storefront, which just looks like a vending machine sort of thing, or like an ATM screen, and then you say, hey, I want to buy this suit upgrade, and then the ATM screen basically opens up as like a walk-in closet thing, and Isaac walks in, the door shuts, and you hear some clanking around, and he gets a suit upgraded, and he comes out, and you're like, damn, that was badass. So this game, the presentation of it is really, really cool. All the shifts from the save menu, like when you load into the game, are cool, like I mentioned last week. And little touches like that in the store, just really special and really, really, really cool. And a lot of attention to detail in this. This game looks amazing. It's very fun. And one thing I was realizing that I was seeing, but I wasn't really noticing, there's a lot of accessibility options in this game. And I think you can have this game notify you before you come upon a section. So I walked into this one area, and actually there was like a doctor taking care of her, like a zombie guy. So you walk in, it looks like a normal person, and it looks like a zombie. And it looks like the normal person is trying to save the zombie or help or do something. But then as soon as the normal person sees you walk in, she pulls a gun and blows her brains out. So that was like the most shocking thing I've seen in this game so far. And really was like, I'm not like rattled by it, but it was like a disturbing thing to see. Because my first thought was like, oh my God, there's another human on this thing. And then they immediately just kill themselves. You don't get to talk to them or anything. So I think it was just a great mechanic by the developers in this game to, that's just a fucked up little scene right there, and it really works. But in this game you can have content warnings on where it'll tell you. I don't think I have this turned on, so I don't know if I at the beginning of the game said I was cool with whatever they wanted to show me, but I was listening to Jeff Gerstmann this week, and he was talking about it. I guess maybe he was testing it out or something. But I looked it up. You can add content warnings that'll tell you things like the upcoming section contains depictions of a slow and graphic death by gunshot. So I don't know if that's like the one I saw, but the lady definitely killed. Well, here's the next one. The upcoming section contains depictions of suicides. That's the one I saw. And then the upcoming sections contain depictions of graphic and violent death. So this game is doing a pretty good job of letting you know. I think these accessibility features are always good, and I think things like this are actually going to bring in a broader audience if people know about it. So I was also listening to Alana Pierce talk about Callisto Protocol this week. This is a side note, but kind of same related, and she was talking about how that game was not scary to her at all, and that almost has me wanting to play it because I'm scared of these kind of games, but I think her saying that it wasn't scary was a little bit of a knock on the game. Her video on YouTube was pretty cool. She did like a 10-minute or 11-minute video talking about her thoughts on Callisto Protocol. So if you want to go check that out, go check out Alana Pierce on YouTube. And she's basically saying that the combat is repetitive and that game is very linear and the jump scares aren't too scary. So just hearing that after playing Dead Space, it sounds like Dead Space does all those things correctly. So Callisto Protocol, from my view of not playing it, makes it sound a little more watered down. Like it's not going to be as good of a game, but it's actually okay. But it has more potential there, which is kind of sad. But I don't know. But I'm still have that. She also mentions in that Callisto Protocol is one of the better looking games she's seen. So that's another thing that's enticing about it. So just another game that I'm checking into for sales. I might end up picking up at some point, especially with how much I'm liking Dead Space. It would be cool to see something related-ish to it. So Dead Space Remake is really cool. I highly recommend it. It is only on the next-gen consoles right now, so you got to have one of those beefy next-gen consoles to play this thing. Let's see. I said I've been getting less scared and more exploratory. That's true. I like the follow line. I was wondering if that follow line is on all the difficulties. I don't know. It would be very scary to not have that line because you'd just be on edge all the time. And I was kind of shocked by that doctor who looked human and shot herself in the head. And that has been it for my Dead Space updates this week. So I'm going to continue plugging along in this game. I've actually been a little bit more brave and been playing this at nighttime sometimes. So I feel like I've been making steady progress on this since it's come out. It came out a week after Fire Emblem. So these have been my main 2 games that I've been playing, which is really fun for a change that I've had 2 games that I've been really dialed into. And, just been focusing on. I haven't been trying to play a whole lot of other stuff, even though there's other things tempting me out there. But Fire Emblem Engage and Dead Space Remake have been really, really cool and have been the main games I've been playing this week. And so the last game I want to talk about that I just booted up, the last game I want to talk about in this section is something I just booted up this week out of guilt because I love this game and I haven't played it in a little while, and that's Splatoon 3. And I just wanted to remind you that the chocolate-themed Splatfest is coming up, and you can pick your side starting February 3rd. So, hey, I read that in the news today, and that was actually yesterday. So I need to get in this game and go pick my side if I can do so. So I will report back. Actually, we'll be talking about the Splatfest next week because the Splatfest is actually February 10th through the 12th. So next weekend you can play the Splatfest. It's a chocolate-themed Splatfest. You can be dark chocolate, you can be milk chocolate, you can be white chocolate. The Dep Lewis Show has already joined the dark side, the dark chocolate squad from last episode. So you can catch me on the dark chocolate squad, and then I need to go pick my side and rep my t-shirt and hopefully have some fun in the Splatfest. So, I just played one game of this. I actually played a pretty great game of this game. I scored over 1,000 in it. I played one just for the hell of it. I missed my Splatoon 3, and I got some gameplay footage of it, and I really showed off. Our team actually lost in that match, which is sad, but I was the MVP of the team in the loss, so I can take I can hang my head a little bit high after that. But just wanted to shout out Splatoon 3 in this section again since I did not last week, and it felt weird not to talk about Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3, go check out the Splatfest coming up next weekend. It'll be fun as hell. And that is going to wrap up this first section of the show. So we talked about the games I've been playing this week. We've talked about the Fire Emblem Engage and Dead Space Remake, which I'm loving a whole lot. I think both of those games, we can put them on the Dep Lewis 2023 Game of the Year list already. So they're going to be on the list. They deserve a spot at this moment. I haven't played anything better, so all these other games are going to have to either join the list or boot these games off as the year goes. So that's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to talk about it as we go. So I just want to let you know that these two are very, very prime contenders. I could see both of these in the top 5, based on just how good they are, and not even thinking about these other games coming out yet. These could be 2 top 5 games easily. So go play them. And then Splatoon 3 has a Splatfest coming up next week, so you'll be hearing some about Splatoon 3 next week in this section. I'll be definitely playing in the Splatfest some. So we're going to take our first break of this show, episode 18, the Coppa Chicken Dog for the 18. Shout out to OJ the Juice Man for that classic hit for episode 18. It's all I've been thinking about for this 18. and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about some news around the video game world. That's what the midsection's about. And we have some releases, we got some general news, we got a delay, and we got a recommendation in that midsection. So go take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Peace. Welcome back to the midsection of the world famous Dep Lewis Show, episode 18. Thank you for rejoining the show. This is what I've been seeing across the video game landscape section, the midsection. So we're here to talk about some cool things I've been seeing, some things that I'm interested in. So this section is normally going to focus on, video game things that I'm particularly interested in, and then also things just around the video game, news around the video game world that is just big enough that I got to talk about. So there's some of that in here. And there's some stuff that I'm interested in. So that's probably going to be the general mix of this section each time. Just so you know out there. So the first thing we're going to talk about in this What I've Been Seeing section is Nintendo. They now have this new promotion going on. It's called Nintendo Switch Game Vouchers. And I watched, there's an overview trailer on this on their YouTube. And you can purchase 2 different Nintendo Switch games, full price games for $99.99. So that is, one price. So $100 instead of paying $120 is basically the gist of this. You can purchase 2 Nintendo Switch games for $99.99 instead of paying $59.99 for each. So $19.99 in savings is what they say. So that's all it really is. It allows you to buy 2 full price digital games at the same time and save $20, which is actually pretty substantial because you're not generally seeing savings like this on Nintendo games. There's a lot of great games in here. There's even 2 games that you can pre-order. One is that new Bayonetta game coming out, the new Bayonetta story adventure game, and then that new Kirby's Return to Dreamland deluxe game. Those are 2 that you can actually pre-order through this. So, I'm thinking of taking advantage of this. There's games in there like Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet. There are Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a game that I have on my wish list, so that's something I might pick up in this. Live Alive is on there, which is another game I've wanted to play. Live Alive is only $49.99, so I don't know how the voucher system handles that. Maybe it just gives you the $10 discount, maybe. So, but I would want to max it out with 2 full price games if I could. But I think Triangle Strategy was in there. I think Splatoon 3 was in there. Go check those Nintendo Switch game vouchers out if you want to. Might be a great way to purchase 2 new games, and there's things you haven't played or you have stuff in your backlog. So, I really like this, and I hope I've seen Xbox will sell you like sports games. It's like, hey, you can buy this and you can get this for half off or something. Like get Madden and get NBA for half off or something like that. Or no, I think it was more like you could buy Need for Speed Unleashed or Unbound or whatever that game was called for half off and then get a sports game. So Xbox was doing something like this that I was sort of interested in. And I all I can say is I hope that they do things like this more, that their digital store pages will have more like sales like this where it's nothing of them to give you a $20 discount, especially if you're going to drop $100 to them. They can give you a $20 discount and still be making a lot of money. And this is a great incentive to purchase some stuff. So I really appreciate this. Target, the retail store Target, they like twice a year they do a buy 2 get 1 free game sale. And that's always just something to look at. There's exclusions in there, stuff you can't buy. Just like there's exclusions in this Nintendo Switch game voucher thing, but it's just a great value and a great thing to look forward to, or you can't always take advantage of it. Maybe you bought the games before, but if it hits at a time where you haven't bought some of these games, it's really useful and cool. So I was just happy to see this with Nintendo, since I have a list of games I'd like to buy and stuff I missed from last year. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is something I think I want to get into after Fire Emblem. So I don't know, maybe I may be using this new feature, and I will let you know about it. So I want to let you know. So you can go check it out there for your Nintendo Switch game purchasing. Very cool. So good job, Nintendo, on that. So the next little bit of news we're going to talk about is a game that just came to Switch, and it's $24.99, and that game is PowerWash Simulator. That's the big hit. It's a simulator of you power washing things. So I've heard from many people, even Danny Brown on the Danny Brown Show, he was loving this game. In this game, you need to power wash things. You just hear about how relaxing it is. Even watching this trailer, I made the correlation to Splatoon 3 at some point. Splatoon 3, you're putting the gunk down, but this power wash, you're doing the opposite. You're kind of washing it away. But I was thinking it kind of looks like a little bit of the same, like scratching the same itch. But I don't know if this is something I would play. I would like to try it if it was free or whatever, but I don't think I would. I don't think it would be smart for me to spend some money on this with all the other stuff I have to play. But this is a simulation video game developed by Future Lab. and published by Square Enix Collective. It was first made available for early access May 2021 and fully released July 2022. And it's now on Switch. So, just love a Switch release. I love when you have another platform you can play a game, especially a game that a lot of people are loving. And to be able to get something new for $24.99 and really be enjoying it's really cool. So I wanted to bring that news to you today. If you're an aspiring power washer, if you're looking to buy a power washer for your own house and aren't sure of how you can tackle it, this might be a good way to get in to see, factor that $24.99 into your budget for getting your shit fixed. And then there you go. It might be a useful tool. Maybe this has real life applications out there. Who knows? But there's definitely a lot of video online of people playing this game because it's a pretty big hit, I would say. The simulator genre is pretty hot in general, which I've never really gotten into. But I think even PowerWash is probably at the top of. There's got to be some podcast or someone out there ranking simulator games, and PowerWash probably has to be in the top half at least or something. Or I bet it's in contention would be my guess of not knowing shit. But very cool. So go check that out if you may please. All right, we're just going to keep buzzing down this news right here in this midsection. There's a game, Dep Lewis Show has, some sports talk at the end mostly every week. And my favorite sport in the world is Major League Baseball. And so MLB The Show is the baseball game that gets released this year, MLB The Show 2023. Or I guess they just call it MLB The Show 23. This is coming out March 28th, 2023. That's 2 days before the Atlanta Braves season starts, so that's pretty badass. Braves start March 30th, and this game is coming to Game Pass. And it's coming to consoles, so you can buy this game at full price, or you can play it on Game Pass again, so that's amazing. So I think the last couple of weeks of the show have talked me into subscribing to Game Pass. There's that game called Hi-Fi Rush, I think is what it's called, that everyone's loving out there. And I want to play that, but I haven't, having a windfall of great video games. We got Fire Emblem, we got Dead Space. I really want to try that Hi-Fi Rush game. And then, we got a lot of good stuff coming. And Hi-Fi Rush is on Game Pass is one reason I want to subscribe to that. And then MLB The Show will be on Game Pass in March. And, I'd like to use that to get some clips. I'll be talking about the Braves and baseball in the final section of the show. So I like having a sports game to get the gameplay footage from. So that's why I'm clocking this a little bit. And so this week, the news around the MLB The Show was they released their cover athlete, who was Jazz Chisholm from the Marlins, who was a really cool second baseman that I really like. And I think he's a perfect brand ambassador for MLB The Show. I think he's a great cover athlete because he's a guy with a lot of, he has a lot of flair and personality. He's super good, and I think he's pretty young, and he's just a man on their team. The Marlins aren't doing so great, but he is a shining star on their roster, and he's just fun. He's fun to watch. The player, even the Braves players interact with him. He's cool. He's a really, I think they did a brilliant job of picking their player this year for the cover. And I wish, if the Braves needed a second baseman, which they don't, I would love to have Jazz on the Braves. But shout out to him for making this. I hope he made some money from it. I hope he made some good money from it. And you guys should go support Jazz Chisholm out there if you'd like to. He's a really cool guy. And then Derek Jeter, the old shortstop of legend from the Yankees. Not from legend, but he is legendary. He's on the Captain Edition, so the deluxe edition or whatever it may be. You can get Derek Jeter on the cover, which can't go wrong there. That's like getting Michael Jordan on an NBA game or something like that, or Joe Montana on a sports game. Derek Jeter is the shit. And that game being on Game Pass is another epic thing. That was the one extra piece of news I wanted to check on that, because whenever that came to Game Pass last year, that was pretty monumental, because MLB The Show for many years was always just on PlayStation, and then as first year on Xbox, they throw it on Game Pass. So that was very, very nice, and I love the Xbox. So MLB The Show 2023, March 28th, 2023. Go play that game. Hey, it's weird that it is weird that, I wonder why that is. Just now thinking about this sports game. So if it's like NBA last year, instead, last year. So last year's 2022. Madden is NFL 2023, and NBA is NBA 2K23. So they're always a year behind. And then MLB The Show is current with the year. So I guess that proves why it's the best sport in the world. MLB The Show, not confusing no one, except for people who play Madden or NBA. But weird. I just thought about that. All right. So moving on to the next game is, this is just some news about a game, because this is a game that is not new, but this game has been repackaged and recomboed, and there has been some new stuff added to this game. And that game is called Hitman World of Assassination. And that is actually, yes, that is a new $70 bundle. that is now available, and it includes Hitman Game of the Year Edition, so the first one, Hitman 2, and Hitman 3. Excuse me. While the $30 World of Assassination Deluxe Pack completes the entire collection with the rest of the outstanding DLC, such as the 7 Deadly Sins campaign and other sniper challenge map. So if you own these games already, it's just rebranding your games you own into one package, so there's no change there. But if you're new to this game, you can no longer buy the separate editions of like Hitman 1, 2, and 3. They're all this combo now. So they're called Hitman World of Assassination. So a full price bundle, you can get all 3 games. And then they're saying if you pay $30 more for like the deluxe pack, that'll complete the entire collection with the rest of the DLC that has been released, over those 3 Hitman games or whatever. So, or for maybe the last one or something, because, they say you get Hitman Game of the Year Edition, so I would assume that has all the content in it. But either way, these games are all critically acclaimed. They all probably have great Metacritic scores, and something I need to play more of. I already own this game, so I own Hitman 1, 2, and 3. The only thing I wouldn't have is the DLC, but I should get into this game a little more. And there's actually that new game mode where it's like a freelancer mode. You can definitely go check out people playing that on YouTube now, or Twitch or whatever. But some of the people I follow, like Nextlander, and I don't know if Jeff was playing it, but I think Firescape might have been talking about it. But that new freelancer mode looks really cool, and it's a new addition to this game where you have your own mansion, your own house, and you're running your missions out of there, and you're getting upgrades to your house and collecting weapons and stuff. So it's like a whole new mode in Hitman that has like a new take on it besides just just going to the levels and having that kind of fun. I think this freelancer mode has like procedurally generated items on the maps and stuff like that. So it seems really cool and something I want to get into. So I have this game downloaded. I re-downloaded it on my system so I could play this. And I wanted to check out what the new the new UI and just stuff like that and see if I was missing anything. But it looks really cool. And let's see. Yeah, Hitman 3 owners will be able to access content from the previous 2 games through the Access Pass system, which will be a free upgrade on all platforms. So I'm pretty sure it did allow me to just download that, and I was able to see all 3 games in my one copy of World of Assassination. I don't notice if the icon on the UI and the menu on the Xbox or whatever has changed, but I need to check that out to see if it actually says World of Assassination now. But Hitman, you should go try it if you haven't played it, and I think this is the perfect way. They're hoping to get some new people playing this by having this new bundle. It's a whole new strategy for them. They've added some new, this new freelancer mode amongst other things maybe that are new to the game, and I think it's a really smart idea. I think we're seeing some smart ideas recently with that Nintendo Switch voucher. I think that's smart. I think this Hitman World of Assassination repackaging thing is really cool. I think it's a great way to get previous games in a series, in one package. I think I talked about that a couple episodes back, that I would love to be able to buy a game and you get the prior copy. They give you the digital copy of the prior game or something. I think these things are all really cool, and I think it has some real value and it makes people want to buy it. And I think that it probably has, it's not enough of a cost for these companies not to do it. I think it's a good exchange, and hopefully we'll be seeing some more of that kind of stuff as we go, and I really hope so. So Hitman World of Assassination, go check that out if you may please. It looks really cool. You can play that on, I think you can play that on prior gen and next gen, but don't quote me on that. But you were able to play Hitman 3 on the Xbox One. So I don't know, but there's definitely like a it's an Xbox Series version that runs faster or something. But I don't even know if that's true. Well, I don't know. Go check out the specs and stuff out there. Don't quote me on that. All right, we're going to keep on moving into the next part of our news. It's going to be a quick one. Let me have a sip of coffee real quick. Got to be sipping coffee. It's very delicious. Great Volness, you always hear me talk about. He got me an AeroPress way back in the day, and that's the best way to make coffee. So I want to let you know out there, as a really, really, really side note, if you're trying to make some coffee, buy an AeroPress, and your coffee will be delicious. All right, so I'm moving back to the video game talk. E3, I think it just came out this week. So E3 is usually over the summer, big press conference. All the game companies show up and tell you about their shit. It really kind of died in COVID. It was actually dying a little bit before COVID, and I think it's been officially announced that there'll be no Nintendo, no Xbox, or no Sony. So I think that's probably what people expected. I don't think it's really too sad, besides just missing out on the nostalgia from E3 and having one time we were getting all this news. But now we get all this news sprinkled throughout the year all the time. So even with this show. I'm looking up news every week for the show, and I'm able to find something interesting to me and just interesting in general if I need to. But these companies do their own directs. Nintendo does their directs. Sony does their state of plays, I think is what it's called. Xbox just did that developer direct for the first time recently. That was really cool, where they had 4 developers just talking about these 4 games that they told you about, and they do it like in a press conference fashion. So I don't think it's important for these people to all get together at once, even though it's really cool. Just thinking through it now as I talk to you, it would be awesome to have them all at one conference over the summer, but we don't have to have it that way. And I don't know if it's, I guess they all deem it's more beneficial to do things, or maybe it's more convenient to do things on their exact own schedule as they want to, just like anybody. But I don't know, it is a little, I guess there's other conferences out there that happen where these people show up, but I don't know, I guess it's just the way the world's changing. Sometimes at those E3 conferences they would allow guests in, or sometimes it would just be all media. So that's just a different thing too. They were going back and forth on. So I guess there's just a lot that goes into it. But either way, E3 of old will not be happening. It was always fun watching those over the summer back in the day, where you were really getting all the news, like back in magazine days, where you were reading Game Informer and Nintendo Power and stuff like that to get your news. And watching E3 was pretty epic. So now we're just we're not as lucky to get it all at once, that big explosion of information all at once, but now we get it all throughout the year as a little bit of a drip feed, and that's probably a little bit better to keep all these people happy out here with their news and stuff. And we're never really having too much of a drought out here in the video game world these days. There are millions of video games to play, and that is amazing. So with that being said, we're going to talk about these February 2023 game releases we got coming up. These are all things that are coming out, things that I have mild interest in, and some that I might actually purchase. So I think I'm on a little bit of a purchase hold until I finish Emblem Engage or Dead Space before I buy another one of these, because I'm really into those games right now. I would like to complete them and don't really want to be switching. So, but there's some stuff coming out in February that looks really cool. So I'm gonna tell you about those right now. So Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter game, comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. That's February 10th, 2023. So that's next Friday, same day as the Splatfest starts. So this is a game that I'm intently going to be watching what people are saying about it, because I hope this game will be reviewing well, and I hope people will be really liking it so I can pick it up and play it myself. But I'm going to let other people fall on the sword on that one first, because Harry Potter don't want to send me a free download code. So, but it's something I'm interested in and would like to spend money on at some point if it's seeming good. But I think there's a big question mark there. So February 10th. All right, so February 16th, 2023, you can play Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line. That's on PS4 and Switch. That's that cool-looking rhythm game with Final Fantasy music. I believe that game's $49.99. Something I would like to play at some point. It looks cool, but the rhythm game I'd like to play maybe more now is that Hi-Fi Rush game. I hope I'm getting that name right, but that'll be a correction for next week possibly. But you know what game I'm talking about, the Xbox exclusive Hi-Fi Rush Saturday morning cartoon rhythm action game. That thing looks amazing. And this Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line looks more of a traditional game, but it looks really cool, and I was excited when I saw the trailer for this. So that was many months ago. I saw that trailer and I was like, man, this looks awesome. So that's coming to PS4 and Switch February 16th, 2023. Okay, and the next one, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I believe I talked about that in a prior episode. That's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, so you can play that on any consoles, it seems, on February 17th, 2023. That's a remake of a classic RPG that I think many people love. So if you want to play that, go check it out on the 17th. And then we have the next entry in the Yakuza series, which is no longer the Yakuza series, is now the Like a Dragon series, and that's Like a Dragon Ishin. It comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, February 21, 2023. So that's a big epic release of an RPG that's very fun. I played a good bit of the previous game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was really awesome in my first entry into that series. So this will be something that I could be playing. I could be playing this at some point. We'll never know. You never know. So check that out on the 21st. Alright, the next game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That comes out on Nintendo Switch, February 24th, 2023. You can pre-order this game right now as part of the Nintendo Vouchers deal going on. So that's a cool tidbit and a reason maybe to purchase this game. But Nintendo's, having some good success with Kirby lately, so they're going to go back to the well. They're going to give you a deluxe version of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and it looks cool. I watched the trailer for this, and I was immediately remembering, recognizing some of the music cues and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that last game really did have a good impression on me from last year. So, or, I'm like, hey, that's that same sound from that game, or hey, that's the same music. I was like, damn, it must just be Kirby stuff that I don't know about. So, I'm learning a little bit about the Kirby out here. All right, and the last game that I've been tracking for February is Octopath Traveler 2. That's coming out on PS5. I wrote PS5 twice, but I hope I meant PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. So the only one getting left out here is the Xbox. So that comes out on February 24th, 2023. That's the sequel to Octopath Traveler, where you have 8 protagonists that you can follow their different paths, and this is the sequel to that. And the graphics and art style in this game are really, really cool. And I never played Octopath Traveler. I think I played the demo, actually. It was just something that, I never made time to play, but it looked really cool. And I think a lot of people will be excited about this release, and I could see myself getting into the Octopath series at some point. So it's definitely something I'm just following and want to talk about. So really cool. So a lot of good games coming out in February this year. Of course, there's some other things coming out as well, but these, I believe, are I've highlighted the heavy hitters that are out there, the general consensus on heavy hitters, and then just things I'm interested in. So that was the point of that section right there. All right. So we got 2 more things I want to talk about in this mid-section. The next one is the Star Wars Jedi Survivor game has gotten delayed, just a small delay, which isn't the worst thing. And, I would say I'm a fan of delays. I think I am a fan of delays. I was about to say 100% of the time, but I was thinking that was crazy, but I probably am. I would rather them always hold the game rather than release something busted. I can't think of an instance where I'd want them to release a busted game before them fixing it. So I guess the only thing I would wish is they would be more transparent with their timeline, if that's going to be what it is. And maybe that's what will happen in the future. People will become more accepting of these things, but please take your time. This is a weird one because they're only taking a month, but if they feel like they need a month for whatever reason to improve this game, or change their strategy, or I don't know, their release or their marketing or whatever it may be, if it just results in the game being better, I think that's smart, especially with how many great games we have to play out here in the world. You can go play the first game in this series. I've seen it on sale for $5.99 recently, and a lot of people love that game. So, just let your games cook and give us the full fleshed out meal would be my opinion. So, I wrote this is probably for the best. No one wants to play a half-baked game, especially with so much coming out. I think this game is only for next gen. So, they're just trying to refine this as much as they can. I don't know how much difference, 28 plus 13 days, whatever that is, 50 something or whatever it is. Like 40 something, but 40 something days, like how much are they really going to be able to change and improve? But what the fuck do I know? I don't make video games. I just like to play them and talk about them. So Star Wars Jedi has gotten a little bit of delay, March 17th to April 28th. So just note that for yourself, and for here on the Dep Lewis Show, that could be something that I want to play. Might not be a day one purchase for me, which is maybe why I feel this way. But even if a game I was really hyped up got delayed, I would still just be okay with it. I feel like I would be sad, obviously, like many people probably are, or a little disappointed, but that would really be it. So let these people cook, maybe. All right, the last thing I want to talk about in this midsection is just a shout out to Jeff Gerstmann and the Dep Gerstmann Show. He did his Game of the Year talk and discussion this week. So I was saying he's the latest Game of the Year show out there, but he had multiple categories. He did a top 10. He actually did kind of a top 15. And I tried to guess his top game, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the game I guessed would be his top game was number 2. In the first game, I was kind of like, man, I should have picked that. So I feel like I was a little bit spot on with what he would pick, but it was a really great show. I listen to Jeff Gerstmann every week, and I want to just let you know that you should go listen to it. I think it's a great time to, if you haven't listened to him, I think he's 30-something episodes out of his new show. So you can go listen to his Game of the Year talk from last year, and then, listen to him all year and going forward if you haven't heard about him. So the Dep Gerstmann Show, great show out there about video games, and you can go listen to his top 10 from last year, and, Jeff's the best out there, so go listen to him. All right, so that was the midsection of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 18, the Copper Chicken Dog Show. And this was the What I've Been Seeing section. So we talked about those Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Very cool. PowerWash Simulator is now on Switch. MLB The Show 2023. Or MLB The Show 23, Jazz Chisholm is the cover athlete. We talked about Hitman World of Assassination, that new repackaging of the Hitman trilogy. That's really cool and released. You should go check it out. We talked about E3, not having anybody to go to it. We talked about all the February game releases, like Hogwarts Legacy, Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line, Tales of Symphonia Remastered, Like a Dragon Ishin, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Octopath Traveler 2. We talked about that Star Wars delay of like 40 days. Not too bad. It's coming out April 28th. We talked about the Jeff Gerstmann show, did his Game of the Year for 2022 last week, so go listen to that. And we're going to take a quick break, and then you got to come back and listen to this show some more. We got one more section, so we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back for the Miscellaneous Talk section this week. We're going to cover some sports, and then we're going to wrap up the show for another great week of the Dep Lewis Show. So please go take a break, do whatever you need to do, go give your dog a pet, and then come on back. See you in a minute. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 18. Thank you for rejoining the show. We're here to talk to you about some sports right here. We're going to start off with some NFL talk. The official NFL team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Carolina Panthers. I got to watch the introductory press conference of Frank Reich this week, and I was pretty meh on that. It was just all right. My overall thoughts on that are I'm not sold yet. He was fired from the Colts the year prior. I was really into the Steve Wilks hire. I really wanted to see Steve Wilks get the job. Now Steve Wilks is probably going to be the D coordinator, it seems like, for the San Francisco 49ers. DeMeco Ryans took the Houston head coach job for the Houston Texans. So shout out to DeMeco Ryans for getting paid, getting the head coaching gig. Sean Payton also went to Denver, was another bit of news that happened last week. But the Panthers are here with Frank Reich. He had his big press conference. Tepper was up there talking. Frank Reich was up there talking, and I think it's a hard position to put a coach in to come up there and just sell yourself. But I'm just hoping this guy is more of a football guy than a salesman. That's kind of what I'm hoping, and I think he is. I don't know. He's just an older kind of white guy, so I don't know. I think it's a big difference from Steve Wilks, and I heard someone say that if they thought. I thought he was sounding like he was at church a little bit, and then which isn't a bad thing. But I heard someone else comment that if Matt Rule was a preacher, then this guy sounds like a pastor. And just from my standpoint, I don't know how much I'm loving that, but obviously don't know too much about his football acumen. I listened to the Pat McAfee show, and they talk pretty nicely of him, and Chuck Pagano and them talk nicely of him. So I just really don't know what I'm getting into here with him. So. I think the hype train everyone's all aboard the Steve Wilks hype train, and now we're left with Frank Reich, and being the Panthers fan, you'll roll with kind of whatever they do because that's what you got to do. You got no other choice, and I obviously hope he's going to do great, and I think there's a way that could happen. So we will see. But Frank Reich is a new head coach. He looks like he can be the adult in the room, which is something that every team needs, and so I think that's good. I think he can garner their respect that way, but. Gotta see what he's gonna do. I kind of hope he'll be calling the plays. Is what I'm hoping. I think I've said that before, and I'd like them to get C.J. Stroud in the draft. Is what I want them to do. I want them to trade up and get C.J. Stroud. I want them to quit fucking around with all these other quarterbacks. Let C.J. Stroud be your starter. Throw him out there. Let Matt Corral back him up and quit playing around with these journeymans. Let Frank Reich get somebody new. Try to mold him and. Just start something new, just like they did with getting rid of Steve Wilks and get Frank Reich. Start something new with that quarterback room. Really do it. So we'll see. Carolina Panthers going to be following them. I think all the coaching dominoes have dropped pretty much, so we're just kind of getting ready for the Super Bowl. So my Super Bowl pick, we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. We're going to have the Chiefs versus the Eagles. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I actually know someone going to the Super Bowl this year, so how crazy is that? It's pretty nice. That guy's going to be doing great out there at the Super Bowl. So I think he's going to be watching the Chiefs win. All right, so Carolina Panthers, shout out to Frank Reich. Welcome to being the coach, and I wish you all the success in the world. And I'll be talking about you a lot on this show, so you better watch it. All right, the official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show is the Atlanta Hawks. All right, I wanted to bring up Brad Rowland. Had some stats at one point last week. The Hawks were 26-26 with their record this year. They are 17-17 against the East. They were 9-9 against the West. They are the 8th of the 15th East teams. They have scored 6,057 points at that point, and the Hawks have allowed 6,057 points. So mediocrity at its finest, or 500 ball at its finest. But the Hawks have won their last 2 this week, which has been really great. They lost to the Blazers on Monday, but then they beat the Suns, and they beat the Jazz last night, and they got the Nuggets tonight. So if they can get a win tonight, I'll be all aboard a hype train for these guys. I'll be all aboard. Keep the Hawks, keep them together. Don't trade anybody. We going to the playoffs. We making that noise. That's what I'll be saying. They left Trae Young out of the All-Star game again, so pretty big snub there. I think he averages 29 points a game and has 7 assists or something like that, but their team hasn't been doing so great, so I can see the arguments, but I'm just a little salty about it. The Hawks next week, they got the Pelicans. They're at the Pelicans on Tuesday after this. So their road stretch continues, but at least they're coming a little bit back farther east. So then they'll be at the Pelicans Tuesday. Then they're at home versus the Suns. So they're back in Atlanta versus the Suns Thursday. And they're in Atlanta playing the Spurs on Saturday next week. So Hawks need to do some great things. They obviously can beat the Suns because they just did that. They should be able to beat the Spurs. Let DeJounte Murray beat his former team, and they can take the Pelicans out. So Hawks, if they can get a win against the Nuggets today, I think we could see them on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game winning streak. So if they can beat the Nuggets today, I think they can win all the games next week. So we will see. I think they can win all the games next week anyway. So that'll be the prediction for the Dep Lewis Show. We might not be able to get the Saturday prediction in by next week, but I'm going to predict that the Hawks win against the Pelicans, Suns, and Spurs next week because the Hawks are rolling, and they are my team. So that's what we'll see. So go Hawks. Got to get better than those Brad Rowland stats, and I think they will right here before the All-Star game. All right, and the last little bit I want to talk about to wrap this show up today is just the official Major League Baseball team of the Dep Lewis Show. That's the Atlanta Braves. There's no news here. Looks like March 30th is the start of the season for the Braves. I just want to keep mentioning that because that's not too far away. It's like less than 60 days away. And it looks like Vaughn Grissom is about to be the new shortstop. We keep getting the Ron Washington, Vaughn Grissom working together articles and photos and stuff like that. So I don't think that's the worst option. I think Vaughn Grissom can be a great shortstop now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm just excited to see some baseball again. I'm really excited to see Ronald Acuna hopefully be back in his form, full form after having a whole off season and being healthy and being able to get re-healthy and all that kind of stuff and get Ozzie back and watch Olsen and Riley and all those dudes. Watch new catcher Mr. Murphy and just see what these guys got. So I'm excited for it. And see Mike Harris, Mike who? All the pitchers. We're going to see Soroka coming back. We got Fried. I want to see Morton doing his thing. I want to see Mr. Strider with his mustache throwing that heat. So I'm just excited. So I just wanted to mainly point out the Grissom. It looks like Grissom's going to be the shortstop. And I think we've been knowing that for a while, but I've just been seeing some more evidence of that this week. So that's going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section. We just have a quick one for you this week. Just some sports talk. So, the Panthers, the Hawks, and the Braves, the best teams around. So thank you so much for listening to Dep Lewis Show episode 18. I really appreciate you listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. You can like, you can subscribe, you can rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. The Buzzsprout page is a great hub you can listen to the podcast there, or you can find the perfect place for you to listen to it on. So check out Buzzsprout. There are clips of the show on YouTube and TikTok where you can watch some gameplay footage of the games I've been playing, so that's pretty cool. So go check those out. I just thank you a million times for listening to this show. This is the 18th episode, the 18th installment, the 18th run, the 18th attempt, the 18th shot of the Dep Lewis Show. And next week we'll be back for 19. So come back next week for Dep Lewis Show 19. I'll be here. All right, I'll see you next week. Adios.